Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to my series of Ascendants. Today we will talk about the Scorpio Ascendant. And before we start, let's quickly find out what your ascendant sign is. If you do not know what your ascendant sign is, please click on the link mentioned in the description of this video. And what you need is your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth to find out what your ascendant is. Do not confuse this with sun signs or your zodiac sign, because you don't need to be born in a certain month to be a Scorpio ascendant. You can be born in December, or you can be born in November, and you can still be a Scorpio ascendant, because this is Vedic astrology, and Vedic astrology needs the time of birth, your date of birth, and your place of birth to find out what ascendant you could be. So you could be any ascendant if you're born in one day. So if you're born today at a certain time, you could be an Aries ascendant. After 2 hours, if you're born from the Aries ascendant, you could be Taurus ascendant. You could be all the 12 different signs in one day. Okay. So once you find out what your ascendant sign is, what your zodiac sign is, through the link that I have provided, and you have the number 8 in your first house, that means you are a Scorpio ascendant. Okay, so let's understand the Scorpio ascendant. So to understand the Scorpio ascendant, we need to look at their first house, obviously, because the first house is the house of personality, how they look, their physical bodies. And we need to look at their sixth house. Why? Because Aries rules their sixth house and Mars rules Scorpio and Aries both. So to understand the Scorpio ascendant, we need to understand Mars a little bit. Okay, so Mars is known as the aggressive planet. Okay, Mars is not like the soft-natured and the romantic Venus, or the wisdom of Jupiter. So Mars is known as the general, the warrior. Okay, so the Scorpio ascendants have the Mars traits, which means they are usually very courageous. They are bold, right? And since the sixth house is ruled by Aries, they love competition, right? Which is why great athletes are seen through the Scorpio and the Aries ascendants. Okay, and since Scorpio is also the significator of the natural 8th house, the 8th house traits also show up in the Scorpio ascendants, which means transformation, sudden ups and downs, secrecy. You might find Scorpio ascendant mysterious. You might have your spouse could be Scorpio, or a family member of yours could be Scorpio, or a friend, and there could be something that you do not know about them, or there's something that you find that you don't understand about them, and that's probably the Scorpio ascendant. Okay. Also, their life, since the Scorpio 8th house energy is now in the first house, transformation has a big role to play. And how do they find transformation? They find the transformation through themselves. And which is one of the reasons why in my research, I have found that Scorpio ascendants, especially if Mars is well placed, okay, they are really hardworking and extremely fit guys. You could find some people into bodybuilding. Okay, they put their body through intense transformation, and to have these great physiques and huge muscles. For example, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, very popular wrestler and entertainer, and now a Hollywood celebrity, right? In the Indian film industry, John Abraham is a Scorpio Ascendant, okay, and Akshay Kumar is also known for his fitness regimes, right? In football, Ronaldo is known for his muscles. He's definitely stronger and muscular than most other footballers, isn't it? Right? So there is a common pattern with the Scorpio ascendant, especially if Mars is very well placed. Okay, so these people put their body through immense exercise. Okay, and they transform their bodies into something very fit, because if Mars is good, it's a good transformation. If Mars is not very well placed, then just the opposite would happen. If Mars is debilitated, or if Mars is in a house that Mars doesn't like to be in, the same people who are known to be extremely physically fit, they could just go the other spiral down. They could be into addiction and anything that is not good for the body. They could be into harming themselves because of the Mars energy. So Mars energy plays a big factor in these in the lives of the Scorpio ascendants. Okay, so to find out how the sixth house plays up, and because Mars likes competition, so these people love competition. Okay, and if they are into sports, they will gain through their enemies. So if Mars is in Aries, which is the house of their enemies, their debts, diseases. So even if they're not well, you would see Scorpio ascendants like really fighting through it. You know, they have this fighting spirit, their courage to go on, even if they have some kind of illness, or if they have to go through a surgery. You know, they would be very strong and bold about it, right? And the same thing applies why they become great sports people. You know, why they want to transform their body, because they want to be better than the others. They want to have bigger muscles than the other men, other boys. All right. If they are footballers, they want to compete and they want to be better than their, the enemies in a football field. The opposite team is your enemy, right? So that competitive spirit plays a big part in their lives. Right, and if you have Scorpio ascendants in your family members and your friends, and you will see it, and they might not be very vocal about it, just like the Aries ascendant. Aries ascendant will tell you on your face, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be better than you. But Scorpio ascendants will not tell you that, but in secrecy they will be working on being better than you at anything that they are good at, or anything that they want to beat you in. Okay, so that's the difference between the Scorpio and the Aries ascendants. Both are Mars ruled, but their personality traits are completely different. Okay, and since their 10th house is ruled by Leo, you would find because 10th house is the house of career, you would find some politicians, some very strong politicians. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the ex-Indian Prime Minister, was also a Scorpio ascendant. So the kind of career these Scorpio ascendants look at, you know, if we analyze their 10th house and their 6th house, because 6th house has the Mars energy, the Aries energy, and the 5th house has the government or the Leo's energy, right? Because Leo also signifies government jobs. Okay, so armed forces, the military is like an ideal profession for them. Even they could be doctors or surgeons, because surgery is seen through Mars, because Mars involves knives. So anything where you have to wield a weapon, okay, or a knife. You know, a surgeon also wields a knife, but that's to cure people. A soldier also wields a knife or a gun, and that's to kill the enemy. All right. And since Leo governs their 10th house, they are inclined towards anything to do with the government or government jobs. Narendra Modi is a fantastic example of a Scorpio ascendant as well. Okay. Now let's look at their second house of family, their accumulated wealth, um, to some extent how they speak, because Sagittarius rules the second house. And we will also look at their fifth house, because fifth house has the Pisces energy, and Pisces and Sagittarius both are ruled by Jupiter. So firstly, Jupiter becomes the most benefic planet for the Scorpio ascendant, because Jupiter has the lordship of the fifth house. Okay, and second house is also very important, because second house, although it's a Maraka house, but it is the significator of your accumulated wealth. And the fifth house is the significator of anything that you do in any business that is to do with speculation, like the stock exchange, or anything that you're putting in your money and you don't know what the return is. Okay, that kind of a business usually also deals with creativity. Okay, any business that involves creativity, because you don't really know, if you're making a painting and you want to sell that painting, you don't really know what price it's going to, you can put in a price, but you don't really know if it will go for that price or not, right? There is no fixed price for work that is done with creative intent. And that is why their fifth house of children, creativity, their fun, because fifth house is also the house of fun, original house of Leo, and the second house of family is ruled by Jupiter. And since the second house is ruled by Jupiter, their family could be from the education background. Their family could be very principles oriented. Their family could be very religious because of the presence of Sagittarius in their second house. Okay, and since their fifth house has Pisces in it, if there is some connection between, if Jupiter is very, very well placed, they could be very good business people. For example, Mukesh Ambani is a Scorpio ascendant, the richest man one of the richest men in the world. Okay. And we need to also look at their ninth house. Why? Quickly, we'll look at their ninth house is because Jupiter is exalting in their ninth house of Cancer. Okay, and that's like a fantastic place. The second lord and the fifth lord goes to the ninth lord and finds its exaltation point and forms an extremely strong Dhani Yoga. Dhani Yoga means a combination that gives lots of wealth. Okay, so we'll talk about the ninth house a little more in detail in the coming few minutes when we are talking about the ninth house. Okay, so that's about their family and a bit about their children. Let's look at their third house. The third house becomes very important. Okay, because this is the difference between the Scorpio, and this is the main difference between the Scorpio and the Aries ascendant, although they are both ruled by Mars, because Mars exalts in the sign of Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, right? Saturn, and remember, Capricorn is a significator of discipline, patience, structure, and Mars, being this aggressive fiery planet, gets exalted with discipline, patience, structure. So you see how the exaltations make sense. Mars has the fiery energy. Mars wants to go for war. Mars is always ready to pick up his weapons and go in for a duel. And what Mars lacks is discipline, structure, patience. And that is why Mars becomes at its highest level in the sign of Capricorn. And what does Capricorn rule for the Scorpio ascendant? Capricorn rules their communication, the third house of communication, the third house of short distance travel, the third house of younger siblings. Okay, third house of hard work, right? And like I mentioned before in this video, you find great sports people, and no matter which field they go in, you find really hardworking and very healthy people. um, uh, especially bodybuilders, and to build a great physique and a very strong body, you need to have great discipline and structure. Mars needs that routine of discipline and structure, which is why people like Akshay Kumar, John Abraham, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, they were able to be so successful in their fields because of how fit they are. And to be so fit, they need that discipline, and go to the gym and exercise. Okay, and all that is exalted in the sign of Capricorn. And since it goes to the sign of Capricorn, their communication is very is quite balanced. Although they are, it's fiery, but they do not say things to offend someone. If you hear Narendra Modi speak, he is known for his speeches. His speeches are very well known because they have the strength. His speeches are known to be very fiery, but again, he doesn't say something that would be completely out of place. The things that he says, people like him, and that is why he's become such a great leader of India, right? So the third house of communication becomes very important for the Scorpio ascendant, so that they can balance their Mars energy and vigor into their bodies and not put it in their communication, which is something that Aries have struggled doing it, because Aries have Gemini in their third house, and Gemini itself is an air sign. Okay, and Gemini is known for being having fluctuations. And if you're an Aries ascendant, you would have these outbursts, and you would say things that you don't want to say at times. But that doesn't happen with the Scorpio ascendants. Okay, now let's look at their fourth house. Their fourth house is very, very, very interesting. Okay, because fourth house has the energy of the mother, which is sitting in the ninth house, which is Cancer. Now you see the connection between the fourth house and the ninth house. Okay, and Aquarius is the significator of gains, the network circle, and Scorpios, since they are Scorpios are also inclined to research work, by the way, because they like Scorpio is the significator of deep, dark emotions, and anything which is under the surface, they would want to go and explore. Which is why surgeons are also seen from Scorpio. People working for secret services, detectives, are also seen from Scorpio. Okay, like the FBI or someone working for the Indian intelligence, like RAW, would also be seen from Scorpio. Okay, especially their career is governed by Leo, right? So what is interesting about their fourth house, and a lot of people don't know about this, is it's amazing how the ancient saints named certain parts of the sky with an animal. Like Leo was signified, this part of the sky was Leo, and then this part of the sky was Libra, and then this part of the sky this called Scorpio. And this is a prime example of the Scorpio energy. Okay, now did you guys know that Scorpion mothers have something very different about them? Okay, so Scorpio, the scorpion signs, the insect scorpion, a female scorpion is known to keep its babies on its back till they are old enough and they are able to fend for themselves. Till then, if the baby scorpions are hungry, they would feed off the mother's body, and the mother would be fine with it and let let her babies feed off her body till they are old enough to fend for themselves. And in some cases, it's said that by the time they are fend for themselves, the mother is just left with just skin and bones. There's nothing remaining, because her children have been feeding off the scorpion's body. Okay, So this is an example of how the ancient saints have explained the protective nature and the motherly tendencies of the Scorpion energy. Okay, and remember, this resilience and this strength to take so much pain is also connected to the Scorpion's behavior of putting their body through great agony and pain to get to to transform their body into something that is very very strong or very very weak. Okay, and only Scorpions are able to do something like that, to go all the way for their children, because that's deep emotions that they have for their children. So Scorpion mothers, Scorpion fathers would literally the term that say they can die for their children, they can really really die for their children, because that Scorpion energy is there in the fourth house, because fourth house is their home, is their mother. Okay, and that kind of energy shows in the Scorpion. Okay, now fourth house is the Cancer also rules their principles, and that's why their principles of having this motherly energy kicks in with the Scorpion people. Okay, extremely protective about their family and their children, right? And also their mothers could be educators, because the ninth house is where Cancer sits. Their mothers could be also very religious. They could believe in rituals like of the ninth house. They could be fond of long distance travel, right? We have already discussed the fifth house where Jupiter sits. We've discussed the sixth house. Now let's come to their seventh house of their spouse, their business partnership, their relationships. Long-term relationships, marriages are all seen with the seventh house, right? Now what's interesting is the Mars energy of Scorpio is attracted to the Venus energy. What is of Taurus? Because what is Venus energy? Venus energy is usually very beautiful. Venus energy is attractive energy. Venus energy is the fun energy. Venus wants to communicate. Venus is romantic. Venus is something that wants to fulfill the desires of eating well, having fun, pleasure, sexual activity, right? And Scorpio is about deep emotions, so they are attracted to the Venus, the Taurus energy. Okay, because that's what is lacking in them. And since they are both Taurus is the Earth sign, and Taurus is about stability. Taurus is about your accumulated wealth. Taurus signifies family, all right? And Scorpio is about transformation. Scorpio is about doing things in secrecy. So they find this Venus energy of stable Taurus attractive. But they could have problem with their partners for not being able to express themselves really well. Their partners could always think that they're doing things in secrecy, although they might not be doing, but they just had this energy about it. Or they might be doing something in secrecy that they don't want to talk about, which might not be cheating or something disloyal. But since they have this energy, the Taurus energy, the Venus energy from the seventh house will find that there is something wrong. Okay, so transparency could be a big problem for the Scorpio ascendants. Okay, now we need to also look at the 12th house, because Libra sits in their 12th house, and Libra is this balance, supposed to be this balance energy which comes to the 12th house. So Scorpios are quite good with managing their losses, because 12th house is also the house of losses. The hospital is a house of solitude, house of the subconscious realm, house of foreign lands. Okay, and since the sign of Libra goes there, Scorpions might have some kind of business that they want to do, which is to do with foreign lands. or something to do with monasteries, solitary places, spiritual gurus. Okay, so they are quite kind of balanced about the 12th house things because Libra sits there. Okay, now let's look at their 8th house. The 8th house is ruled by Gemini, and it's not really good for the Scorpio ascendant, because again Gemini is an air sign. Okay, and Mercury is also known as a very fast moving planet. Okay, so the Gemini energy comes into their 8th house, which means Scorpio ascendants could have some ups and downs in their lives. All right, and they need to deal with it with communication, since Mercury rules Gemini, and Gemini, the significator of Gemini is communication. All right, so they could have issues with their friends, their family, and anything that they could deal with communication, they should be able to accomplish in this life. Right, since Gemini rules their 8th house, 8th house is also the significator of the family of their spouses. So usually they are known to have good communication with their spouse's family. Okay, like their in-laws and their father-in-laws. Right, we have already looked at their 9th house and their 10th house. Now let's look at their 11th house of gains, which is controlled by Mercury again. So they make pretty decent business people, because they're kind of calculative about how they're dealing with the outer world, their network circle, their friends. So Scorpios are also known to be extremely calculative with their friends, which means they usually will make friends with people that they can gain something from them. Since the analytic sign of Mercury sits in their 11th house. Okay, and their gains also highly depend on where Mercury is placed, and Mercury kind of becomes very important for them because the big gains are seen from the 11th house. Your wealth, your accumulated wealth is seen from the 2nd house. So the position of Mercury and Jupiter becomes kind of important for the Scorpio ascendant to establish how much money they will make in this life. And money is very important. Everyone wants to know about how much money they will have. Okay, so that was my analysis of the Scorpio ascendant. And if you like this video, please click on the subscribe button and stay tuned, because I'm going to keep making more videos on Vedic astrology. And if you want a consultation, please visit my website www.swamisaptaparni.com. And I'll talk to you soon. You have a very good day. Bye-bye.